Hello, I'm Catherine Sines, the president of the Rotary Club of Hudson. Rotary is a professional organization of a group of men and women who support Rotary International. We also join together by a common interest of service to our Hudson community, and we have a sincere desire to give back. We meet weekly on Wednesdays at Laurel Lake Retirement Community, 200 Laurel Lake Drive, in their dining room. We meet from 7:30 to 8:30 and would like to invite you to join us. For more information about Rotary, go to www.rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the following excerpts from one of our recent meetings and consider joining us on Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests.
Good morning, Ron.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Jim Ahern.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Jim.
If you'd all bow your heads, please. We thank you, Lord. Thank you again for this fine meal and for our good friends in Rotary. Keep us ever mindful that we are related as individuals, as nations, that the problems and struggles of our brothers and sisters across the globe belong to all of us. Please inspire us as we renew our commitment to service above self. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim. And lead us in the pledge and four-way test, Tom Tobin.
You'll all join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
is it the truth?
Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Tom. And we don't have Dick Pearsall today, and we don't have Hal Dassessor, but we do have Chris Barker to lead us in song.
How about America? You know, beautiful, spacious skies. Did America? That's a bit tricky this early in the morning.
It was right under the Star Spangled Banner.
Unless there's something else someone sees and it says stop, we can do that.
There we go. There it was.
Let's do that one.
Do we want to do this one?
Sure.
We can do that. Oh, America the Beautiful.
Okay. All right.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Great job.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
And today we have our president-elect, Evan McCauley.
Good morning, fellow Rotarians. How's everyone doing?
How are you?
Doing great. It's a little bit cold out there, so we're gonna have to, keep those smiles big today. We'll, bring out the sunshine in here. We've got a special presentation. It's gonna keep you on your toes. But we're gonna kick things off this morning with an introduction of guests. Chris Barker.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Oh, we have one guest with us. If she would please come up. I'm Caroline Cox, and she's a guest of Evans, and she's going to give a brief introduction. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Nice to see you all. very smiley faces. My name is Caroline. I am from Cuyahoga Falls. I've got a sweet 1-year-old baby son who's my inspiration. I came across the Hudson Rotary. I work with John Adams of Adams, Goot and Associates in Fairlawn. We are a comprehensive financial planning and wealth management team, so we're helping people plan for their futures, you know, at any age, whatever that is. So we like the type of work we do. We are neighbors with Evan now on the same street there. So it's really nice to be here and learn more about what you guys are doing in the community and how we can be a part of that. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for being with us. We'll look forward to seeing you again and meeting John here soon as well. So moving right along, Joe Avella has an announcement about Rotary Youth Exchange.
Yes, another update about Rotary Youth Exchange. There are some cards on your table which you are welcome to take with you. Rotary Youth Exchange is, this is a full academic year program open to students age 15 to 18 years old. It's an opportunity to spend the entire academic year abroad in one of 33 countries that we work with. It's a great opportunity for a young person to be a cultural ambassador, to learn learn a foreign language or improve upon a foreign language, make lifelong friends, and have fun while they're doing it. What Rotary provides in the way of host family and room and board and tuition is the equivalent of a $20,000 to $25,000 scholarship. If a family was to do this privately on their own through many of the services that do this, it would cost about $25,000. The deadline for applications, we're currently accepting applications. The deadline is at the end of this month, end of November, for the academic year beginning September 2018. So take a card. If you have a niece, nephew, grandchild, friend, neighbor, you might mention it to them, give them a card. There's some contact information on the back, and it's a great program. Tom has a question.
Ideal age for a student going overseas?
They must be between 15 and 18 and a half on day of departure.
Yeah.
Many students do this in their junior year, but because of that age, you could also do it as a gap year after you graduate. Okay. You do it as a gap year. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Another Joe has an announcement, a special announcement. Joe Zapatowski to share with us a Paul Harris Fellow induction.
All right. Ooh. Watch your step there, Joe.
Glad someone's worried about me here. Yeah. Yes, we have another ceremony today to induct a new Paul Harris Fellow. So if Phil Warburton would come here and join me while I spiel about Paul Harris Fellows, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. The presentation of Paul Harris Fellow recognition is the Rotary Foundation's way of expressing its appreciation for a substantial contribution to its humanitarian and educational programs. It is named for our founder, Paul Harris, a Chicago lawyer who started Rotary International with 3 other business associates in 1905. We move closer to a world of peace and goodwill today as Phil becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. Congratulations to you, Phil. You joined the 20 members of Rotary, of our Rotary Club, who have achieved this distinction in the past. 17 of these are Paul Harris Fellows. 1 is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. Another is a Paul Harris Fellow +2. And yet another a Paul Harris Fellow +8. Their gifts to the International Foundation's educational and humanitarian programs is a commitment to peace and better life for people across the world. This is truly a selfless action and so wonderfully honoring the Rotary four-way test. Phil, it's because of gifts like yours that the Rotary International Foundation is able to carry out an array of programs that achieve beneficial changes to our world, improved living conditions, increased food production, better education, wider availability of treatment and rehabilitation for the sick and disabled. In becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, Phil joins a remarkable company of persons throughout the world, all recognized for their devotion to the ideal of peace and understanding. It is the goal of Rotarians the world over, and one that Phil shares with them. All Paul Harris Fellows present, please stand to welcome Phil to the Paul Harris Fellowship. And let's all give him a hand for becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. Phil, here is your certificate of membership in the Paul Harris Fellow, and if our president-elect, Evan, would come forward and pin you, you're a Paul Harris Fellow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like this pinned?
Right over here. Thank you.
Congratulations. Good job.
Great. Looks really great.
Thank you.
Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Congratulations, Phil. So next up, we have a card funneling around here. It's our youth exchange from Brazil, Lucas. And I think everybody signed it, so we're good there. Thank you. And welcome to Arts and Culture Month. George Schneider is going to introduce the program today, and he has put a lot of time, him and his committee have put a lot of time into making this a special month for us. So without further ado, George Schneider.
Good morning, Rotarians. Good morning. And good morning to our guests. As Evan said, we begin today a three-week salute to arts and culture in Northeast Ohio. Next Wednesday, Art Falco, who is president and CEO of Cleveland's Playhouse Square, will talk about the challenges and the rewards of presenting entertainment 365 days a year. Their complex is as large, it contains many theaters. In fact, it is the largest entertainment complex outside of New York City. So we're delighted to have Art Falco with us next week. In 2 weeks, Cleveland Art Museum Curator of Decorative Arts, Stephen Harrison, will give a presentation on his new blockbuster exhibit at the Cleveland Museum called The Jazz Age, which is the best special exhibit that I think I have ever seen at the museum. It is a stunning exhibit. This morning, we welcome the Hudson Players, who have entertained us with exceptional community theater for the past 68 years, and the last 20 of those at Barlow Community Center. To speak more about the Players, I would like to introduce Gary Maher, who is currently the vice president of the organization and a longtime board member. Gary will speak briefly about the Hudson Players, followed by a staged reading from their newest production, which is opening this Friday, A Few Good Men. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Rotary welcome to Gary Maher.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for having us here. We really appreciate the opportunity. I've met many of you before. For those that know me, know that I'm very passionate about the Hudson Players. I've been involved with the Hudson Players for way longer than I probably care to admit at this point in time. We have been around actually for 73 seasons, but really longer than that. If you go back through the Hudson Players' history, we were actually originally formed in the 1920s. There was a group and an organization that was formed that did productions, then went defunct for a few years, and that whole early history was lost. There's really no documentation exactly when it started, when it stopped. But then back in 1945, Glad Lewis and some residents of Hudson got together at Saywell's Coffee Shop, which was a Hudson institution for a long, long time, and decided that Hudson needed a community theater again and reformed the Hudson Players Guild. And we've been thriving ever since then. And we really do a lot of things for the community. We try not only to present really excellent, top quality productions, and I think we've done a really good job. As I said, I've been a member a long time, and I think one of the neat parts about being involved is seeing us get better and better each year. If you saw our production of Mary Poppins last year and some of the other things we did, I think we have achieved reaching some new heights, bringing some new technology to the stage here in Hudson, and really upping our level of entertainment, which is what we try to do each year. We also try and broaden that out and make sure that we're not just doing popular things, but trying to do other things that challenge folks, actors, audiences, all that as well. But more importantly, we also try and be very involved in the community, which I think is important to the Rotary Club. So we support a lot of Hudson restaurants. We do a lot of co-sponsorships with them, where we make sure we send our audiences to them before and after the show. Particularly when we have a new restaurant in town, things like that, we always reach out to make sure that they're involved, that we know them, that we visit them after rehearsals or after shows, and again, that we're sending our audience members to them, because we get a lot of folks from out of town. They visit those restaurants and they come back on their own. And we've seen that and we've heard that, which is great. We support other groups. We're very, very lucky to have a community center in town that is owned by the city, but we provide almost all the equipment within the theater portion of that building. And we work with all the other groups to utilize that equipment and help them with their productions and their shows, and to bring even a bigger variety of arts to Hudson than we could ourselves as the Hudson Players. So we not only try and bring some great shows and great productions to the community and do it in a professional manner, but again, we try to support all the other groups around town as well. And so we've had lots of success. You'll see our newest iteration of our website, I think, went out a while back. We've got lots and lots of photos on there. If you've ever been involved in the Players, we're trying to put a lot of our history up there now in photos. So there's a gallery there with lots of our older shows and past shows, and we're getting more and more of them up there as we go throughout. There's lots of ways to get involved. People can volunteer to build sets. You work on costumes. You don't have to be on stage. Everybody thinks about the on-stage part, but there's plenty for folks to do within our organization. Publicity, other things behind the scenes that doesn't involve getting up on stage. That can be extremely valuable to our group, and we have lots and lots of members in there. I think at times we have close to 60 to 100 active members that are involved in our group throughout the year, doing different things on different shows. So it's a very thriving group, a very important group, I think, to the community in that sense. You can see our history on there. There's lots of other information. This season, we've got, as I said, we're entering in our 73rd award-winning season. We say award-winning because we're very involved in the Ohio Community Theater Association, statewide group, also the American Association of Community Theater, which is a national group. We've had members that have been recognized by the American Association of Community Theater for their work. We've had members that have been recognized by the Ohio Community Theater Association for their work. Brian, our director, myself, and many of our productions have won awards from the Ohio Community Theater Association for their excellence, for excellence in ensemble, for excellence in overall production, and things along those lines. I should also say that we actually spread out throughout the state, because our group has been very involved in the Ohio Community Theater Association, and twice our region that we're involved with has hosted the statewide conference, with two of our members being chair of that conference. So all the support that goes to Hudson Players also helps theater throughout the state, because we really work very hard to help all the other community theaters out there as well. So, but back to this season, we do think we have one of the best deals going. We worked very, very hard to keep our ticket prices reasonable but to deliver a very high-quality show. So our tickets are only $14 for most of our productions. We do have group senior student discounts available. We also have season tickets, it's up there on the screen, so you can get 3 really good shows throughout the year for $30 with our season ticket. We look at other theaters around the area, all that's really a deal that can't be beat. And again, you know, when you come see our shows, hopefully you think the same, but we really do think that the quality production is very high, particularly for the ticket cost that you see there. So it's very good value. With that, with our 3 shows this year, our first show being A Few Good Men, we actually also have military discounts on that show. And then we are supporting, remember the correct name, it's the Louis B. Stokes VA Hospital. We're raising funds for that throughout the production, with half of the dollars from our matinee performance going to that, because that's right around Veterans Day. And then we're also collecting donations throughout the show to support that organization as well. So those are some of the other things we do. We'll talk a little bit more about A Few Good Men in a moment. Other part of our season this year is Nonsense, which is, as we call it, a nonsensical musical comedy. It is an off-the-wall, very fun, very entertaining evening. If you come to that evening and don't laugh, then I don't know what else we can do to get you to laugh, because it is a very fun show. It's been popular throughout the area years ago, but we think we're going to have a nice fresh look at it. It hasn't been done in a while, and we thought it was really time that we partook in the fun that show offers. So we think we know you'll enjoy that if you come out for an evening. It's pretty family oriented as well. And then we're going to finish up our season this year with The Producers, which is the Mel Brooks musical comedy, which is very funny as well. Offers lots of shots in lots of different areas. So if you know Mel Brooks, you'll know there's plenty to keep you awake and aware and involved. We're very excited to do it. It's an adventuresome show for us to do. It's got a lot of technical aspects and other things that we'll have to work through. But we're really excited. We think that's a great show to finish up with. It's a newer show. It was on Broadway a few years ago, and so we're excited to finish our season with that. So we think it's a pretty strong season this year with the 3 shows that we've got. So we hope you guys support us by coming out to see the shows. It can certainly, we accept donations, all those other things as well. We're just for this show, we got a larger donation. We're upgrading our lighting equipment, and so we've got about halfway through doing that. We have another half to go throughout the year, or things as we raise more funds for that, which basically we're going into LED lights and upgrading our light board, things like that, which again updates the quality of our production. And we thank the Burton D. Morgan Foundation for a large donation to help us with that project. So, but back to A Few Good Men. We'll have some time for general questions about the group, and I will hand out brochures and postcards about our show after we're done, so that you guys have some information to go to take with you. But A Few Good Men, if you guys are familiar with that, it was a movie with Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. Not that, I guess a few years ago now, but it was an extremely popular movie. Before that, it was actually a play. And then it went onto the screen, and then they've kind of updated the play again to kind of match that. And I think next year they're going to be updating it again, because they're going to do a live performance on TV of the show, as they've started to do now around Christmas time and other times of year. Word is that A Few Good Men has been chosen for that type of treatment, but they're going to actually adapt the script and make it kind of like a televised drama. So they'll do some changes to it to make it fit that better, I guess, from what I hear. But it's a very successful stage play. It was very successful on Broadway. It really is a court trial about 2 soldiers who thought they were doing the right thing, and all the complexities behind that, that courtroom trial, behind the military chain of command, behind the honor and commitment and things that go on in the military. It's a really good piece. So we're going to give you a little sampling of that piece today. Wish we could give you the whole production of it, but hey, that's why you got to come to the show, right? So today we're going to go ahead and do a couple of cuttings, a couple of different pieces from that, When we're done with that, as I said, we'll take some questions afterwards. If you guys have questions about the show or the group in general, anything we can do for you, we'll be happy to answer at that point in time if that works. Sound good? You guys got your mics? We've got two other folks with me from the production. I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you their roles within the show, and then I think Brian will just introduce each scene as each scene happens. So Brian, we'll start with you.
Is this thing on? Yeah, it is. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Westerly. I'm the director of A Few Good Men, and this is...
My name's Nick Peters. I'm the lead. I'm Daniel Caffey. So Tom Cruise, basically.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, he looks just like him, doesn't he? Hi. So the first scene we're going to do is a scene between Caffey and his best friend Sam. Yes, I'm going to read all the parts because none of the other actors were available this morning, so the director gets to do it. That's why I have the script in my hand. So, you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Oh. She's asleep now. When Laura gets back, you're my witness. The baby spoke. She said a word.
Okay.
She made a sound. I'm not sure it was a word. Hey, come on, it was a word. You heard her. The girl sat here, pointed, and said, "Pa." She did. She said, "Pa."
She was pointing at a doorknob.
That's right, pointing as if to say, "Pa, look, a doorknob."
Jack Ross came to see me today. He offered me 12 years.
That's what you wanted?
Yeah, it was, but I guess I'll take it.
So?
It took him about 45 seconds. I mean, he barely even put up a fight.
Danny, take the 12 years. It's a gift.
You don't believe their story, do you? You think they should just go to jail for the rest of their lives?
I believe every word they said. And I think they should go to jail for the rest of their lives.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Remember to wear your whites. It's hot down there.
Ugh, I don't look good in whites.
Nobody looks good in whites, but we're going to Cuba in July. Do you have Dramamine?
When Dramamine keeps you cool?
You get sick when you fly.
I get sick when I fly because I'm terrified of crashing into a large mountain. I don't think Dramamine's gonna help with that.
I got some oregano. I hear that works pretty well.
Okay. One quick thing before I leave. Jack Ross said that the platoon commander, Jonathan James Kendrick, had a meeting with his men and specifically told them not to touch Santiago.
So?
Well, that's the thing. I never even mentioned Kendrick. I don't even know who he is. What's that about? I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow.
First scene. Steal somebody's chair. This is a little light on your...
Yep. You might want to move it up on your shirt a little bit so it's a little closer.
I'll just leave it right there. Okay. This next scene is down in Cuba between Caffey and a couple of other characters that Gary will read, and Colonel Jessup, you know, the Jack Nicholson part. We're starting with 43, this line. All right. Take caution in your tone, Commander. I'm a fair guy, but this heat is making me absolutely crazy. You want to know about code reds? On the record, I tell you I discourage the practice, in accordance with the commander's directive. Off the record, I tell you it is an invaluable part of close infantry training, and if it happens to go on without my knowledge, so be it. I run my unit how I run my unit. You want to investigate me? Roll the dice and take your chances. I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me, so don't think for 1 second that you can come down here, flash a badge, and make me nervous.
Let's go.
The corporal's got the Jeep outside. He'll take you back to the flight line.
Thank you. Colonel, I'll just need a copy of the transfer orders.
What's that?
Santiago's transfer orders. You have paperwork on that kind of thing. I just need it for the file.
For the file?
Yeah.
Of course you can have a copy of the transfer order. For the file.
Thank you.
I'm here to help in any way I can. You believe that, don't you, Danny? That I'm here to help in any way that I can?
Sure, yeah.
Corporal can run you by personnel on your way out to the flight line, and you can have all the transfer orders that you want. But you have to ask me nicely.
What's that?
You have to ask me nicely. You see, Danny, I can deal with the bullets and the bombs and the blood. I can deal with the stress and the heat and the fear. I don't want money, and I don't want medals. What I do want is for you to stand there in that stupid white uniform and with your Harvard mouth, extend me some courtesy. You gotta ask me nicely.
Don't do it, Danny.
Sir, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer orders, please.
No problem. All right, the next scene we're gonna do is between the same two characters, and it's the courtroom scene.
Ooh. Brian, you want write a little setup for the final scene here, just so folks can understand the characters. I think we jumped in a little, and I want to make sure they understand the Colonel relationship to what's going on as we get in the last scene.
The very end of the show, Caffey finally gets the chutzpah to call Jessup, who is like the head of the, what is he the head of?
Guantanamo Bay.
No, he's big in the DOD, that's what you say. And he supposedly has ordered these young men, the Code Red, that killed the other young soldier. So he's finally got him on the stand and is trying to get him to admit that he did it.
This is that moment of tension.
This is that moment.
Colonel, the 6 a.m. flight. It was the first one off the base?
Yes.
There wasn't a flight that left 7 hours earlier and landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 2 in the morning?
Lieutenant, I thought we covered this.
Your Honor, in just a moment, defense will be calling Airman Cecil O'Malley and Airman Anthony Perez. Airman O'Malley and Perez were working the grounds crew on the morning of the 7th.
Your Honor, these were not on the list. But they are rebuttal witnesses, Your Honor, called specifically to refute testimony ordered under direct examination. The judge will allow the witnesses.
Now, Colonel, a moment ago...
Check the tower logs, for Christ's sake.
We'll get to the airmen in just a minute, sir. A moment ago, you said that you ordered Kendrick to tell his men not to touch Santiago.
That's right.
And Kendrick was clear on what you wanted?
Crystal.
Any chance he just ignored the order?
Ignored the order?
Any chance he just forgot about it?
No.
Any chance when he left your office he said, the old man's wrong?
No.
Any chance when Kendrick went to his platoon and gave them the order? Any chance that they forgot about it?
Have you ever served in an infantry unit, son?
No, sir.
Ever served in a forward area?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in another man's hands? Asked him to put his life in yours?
No, sir.
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die. It's that simple. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
Crystal. Colonel, I have one more question for you before I bring airmen to the stand. If you had given an order for Private Santiago not to be touched, then why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
If you had given an order for Private Santiago not to be touched, then why would it be
Private
necessary?
Santiago was being transferred because he was a substandard.
But that's not what you said. You said he was in danger, and then I said grave danger.
Yes, that's correct.
I can have the court reporter read back your statements on the remark.
Yeah, I know what I said. I don't need to have it read back to me.
Then why the two orders? Colonel. Why the two orders?
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands.
No, sir. You made it very clear just a moment ago that your men never take matters into their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. So Santiago shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should he have, Colonel? It's a paradox, isn't it? Paradox is a word in this case that means...
Snotty little...
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
That makes two of us.
I'll ask one final time. If you had ordered Lieutenant Kendrick to tell his men that Private Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base? Colonel? Kendrick ordered a code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Kendrick to do. And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose.
Counselor, you're putting
you had Markinson sign a phony transfer order. You coerced the doctor. You doctored the logbooks. I'll ask for the fourth time. If you ordered
You want answers?
I'm entitled to them.
Do you want answers?
I want the truth.
and you have to come see the next line at the theater.
Any questions about that? So I said we open, I should mention that I guess real quick, is we do open this Friday. We run for 3 weekends, so we run November 3rd, 4th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 12th being a matinee, and 17th and 18th. And
Gary, can I use those lines in my work with my people? I want an answer.
They're
you certainly
copywritten.
can.
So I got to ask one question. It's not so much the Tom Cruise character, but the Jack Nicholson character. I mean, that's what that's going through my mind the whole time that you're going through the lines, and I got to wonder if you are heavily influenced by his portrayal of the Colonel as you're doing.
As an actor, if I were playing this, yes, probably. As a director, no.
You're
I
trying
kind
to
of
stay
wanna-
away from that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever's what you expect from the movie is not what you're going to get on the stage from the guy playing that role.
And so the lines are identical, though, aren't they?
They are. There's an the original script written in 1986 is a lot different. That "you can't handle the truth" line is actually said by Kathy's character and not Jessup's character.
Oh, okay.
But he took it and rewrote it after the movie. So now the script that we're using is basically the movie.
I just, it's so funny because I just projecting Jack Nicholson's face on you as you're
Probably a better
delivering those
face than the
lines.
one that's there.
Yeah.
In fact, Brian actually requested to the cast strongly that they not watch the movie and not watch those portrayals. And I think the problem when you do that is that then you become an actor trying to portray an actor portraying a character versus an actor trying to portray a character. So yeah, but that was a request he'd made of the cast early on. Please don't watch the movie because we're doing our own production. If you wanted to watch the movie, you'd watch the movie.
No,
right?
we weren't watching the movie. My question is, how did both of you go to the theater?
Oh, you go first.
Well, I haven't done theater since high school, and I'm a senior at Kent State this year, so I actually just got back into it like 3 months ago. So, I don't know. I just saw this, and I was just like, yep, I'm gonna do it. Here I am.
Actually, I convinced him to do it.
Yeah.
And I've been doing theater since 1865. I just started doing it when I was in high school, and I've just been doing it ever since, and now it's my job. I make my money doing theater.
Well, don't tell them what else you do.
Oh, I'm the co-artistic director of Western Reserve Playhouse in Bath. That's my day job. Then I direct at night, and I also teach directing classes, and I'm going to teach acting classes, and I have an agent in Cleveland, so I'm pretty busy.
I just go to school full time, so.
Where?
Kent. Yeah.
Are your studies related to theater, or are they?
No, I'm a communication studies major, and I have minors in public relations and photography. Yeah.
But he wants to do acting for a living.
Yeah, great.
I think he should.
And even, sorry, we put this on TV, but so not all of the actors in Hudson Players are from Hudson, right? I mean, they're not. We draw from.
Correct.
You draw far and wide for actor talent, right?
We do. We've had folks. I'm not sure the exact spread of this cast, but we've had folks, all the way down from New Philadelphia that come up to our theater, up to Cleveland, that come down to the theater to act within the shows, and our audiences come from even further away than that. We have last year we have folks that have come out once a year, every year from the PA area somewhere, and they drive out, stay overnight, and come to our shows.
Now, Gary, you live here.
I do. I live in Hudson.
How about
I'm
you
on
two
the fire
gentlemen?
department.
Do you have any Hudson roots? Or?
I live in Stowe.
Okay.
Live in Kent, but I'm from Avon,
Okay,
Ohio. Yeah.
great.
Suburb of Cleveland.
Yeah. Great.
Do you purchase tickets online?
You can. HudsonPlayers.com is our website, so you can purchase the tickets on there. There's also a phone number that's on the flyers that I'll hand out. You can call that and do them there. You can also take your chances at the door. I know we had a lot of sad faces at Mary Poppins, folks that couldn't get tickets at the door, so I do recommend reservations. You can actually pick your seats when you do it online too, so that's kind of a nice way to do it.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead and get your
Yes.
Other questions? Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you having here. We'll walk around and just hand these out so you have them, and we'll hope to see you at the show.
Oh, wait, maybe I do have one additional question. Aaron Sorkin, is that the guy from West Wing?
That is the guy
Yeah.
from West Wing and many other shows. This was one of his first things that he did to gain fame. That's why I think he's gone back and adjusted it. But yeah, he gained most of his TV and fame and everything after this. Yep, so you're a very famous writer.
Thank you for having us.
So that was something different. That was quite exciting. I like that a lot. Thank you, gentlemen. You did a great job. Let's give them another round of applause here. I look forward to coming out. I've never been to one of your productions, and I look forward to coming out for A Few Good Men. Thank you. So thank you this morning. Just a couple announcements to wrap up. We'll do the Rotabuck, and we'll send you on your way today. You know, the weather is getting a little bit colder outside. Our group has a lot of snowbirds, so you might start to see some folks flock down south. So keep those people in your thoughts and wish them well. Thank you this morning to Joe Avella for being the greeter. Joe, was there anyone else up there with you? Donna? Okay, I think she headed out, but thank you to Donna as well for being a greeter. Audio and visual setup crew, Den Rich, Tom Page, Tom Tobin, James Field, and Ron Barnhouse back there. Ron, I think you're probably, the first guy to get here in the morning and the last to leave every week. You know, thank you for everything that you do, Ron. So we'll move into the Rotabuck this morning. The payout or lunch money today is $11. And the jackpot's getting up there, $434. So get those tickets out. And Caroline, as our guest today, would you like to pick a number here?
Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for coming today.
All right, the last four numbers here, 0756.
Oh my God.
0756.
Not in a row, but I do pull the other tickets. I do pull the other tickets out of the basket.
All right.
Hey, James, you've just taken the order.
I know.
All right, here's your money here. Alrighty, thank you everyone. I've got two quotes here. I've got one quote that Catherine wanted to share, and then I've got a quote of my own. So I'll start with Catherine's. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Thank you for being here today, and have a great week. So thanks, Catherine. Safe travels out there. In my quote this morning, this is a famous entrepreneur, Mark Cuban. It doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. All that matters is that you are the one pouring the water. So with that, thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you next week. Take care.